Dear lovelies, how are you all doing? Welcome back to our crafting where we learn, grow and craft together. In today's session for our African Safari Journal, we are going to start on part 1 of making the ephemera. Now part 1 will be using the kit stove, where we will be looking at the parts, pieces that are included in the digital kit from DG and SVG Designs for You. It's called Big 5. You can look for it on Etsy. If you haven't done so and you are interested in that, if you need to, you can reach out, send me an email and or comment below on the video and I can send you a link to their Etsy shop. As always, just want to reiterate, I am not affiliated with them and this is not a paid promotion. I am just loving the products that they are offering to customers, and I am very impressed with their service and with the graphics that they use. I have bought quite a few of their things and I will be showing you more in due time. So without further ado, let's get started. So on the workbench right now are some of the pieces that are already cut out from our first session. When I showed you the kit, we started with this already. Now, some of it will be used, some of it might not be used. There are so many. I just saw 2 here, 3 actually, that I did not finish cutting. Not a problem, not an issue. I know there's a few that I have already, I duplicated them. Some that needs to have holes punched out, stuff like that. Maybe a little bit of inking. Remember with the white paper, the core of the paper is showing. I wonder if you can see that. It really shows the edge. So I will be inking as we go on. Some of the journal cards and things could be added with paper clips, tags. Remember, we have got those little strings, so we can add some of these things. I might not necessarily use everything in this journal, but man, oh man, there are some lovely pieces here that I would just love to use. They are absolutely gorgeous. And yes, of course, some of them, like this African, you know, the continent, the map with some of the animals on there, it's just to die for. Pockets, honestly, there are so many little things that needs to be sorted. This one goes with this. It actually fits in there. You can make it your own, add some stuff. Really, borders. I love this African borders. They are gorgeous. And so many pieces. Africa, what would be a big file without Africa? There's a few file folders that can be included. Lovely little tabs. All of that can be used wherever you so wish in this kit. Now I'm going to start folding pockets. So I'm going to move some of these things to one side. I just want to grab envelopes. That's what I've put here. A few things there. And of course, there's so much I will not be able to show how I make everything, but some of it I will definitely show you how. I'm just trying to get some of these things together. Borders, really, really a lot. And you can use it in any type like project that you so wish to. I want to do that one. Maybe that one. Giraffes are one of my favorite animals. Just quickly going through here, just getting, I have folded the file folders already. I can show you the big ones. I've got another big one here somewhere. There's another envelope that I missed previously. I know there's another little file folder. I just saw it. And now, for the life of me, I can't see it. Maybe it's in here. I know it's there somewhere. I don't know where right now. But let me just get this out of the way for a moment. These borders, these beautiful things. There's a pocket. And then we have all these circular shapes, little tags. Plenty to mention. And equally beautiful. I'll move this out of the way for now. Just a little bit. And we will take it from here. So, file folders are already cut. And I already folded them. However, I would like to just ink the edges. You know how I do those. File folders, look at the ostriches, and on the side there's the gemsbok. We call this a gemsbok. And full straights, there's a jackals and a little beetle here at the bottom as well. This one has got the elephant, there's a cheetah, zebra, and then the 2 giraffes. Absolutely magnificent. Just love them. So I'll put that to one side. Let's start with these ones. Now, I have sadly dropped something on there. Don't ask me when. And it is colored that, but it doesn't look too shabby. I know it is colored because the mark is on the reverse. That's how I know that there was an oopsie. So grabbing my bone folder and a ruler so that we can start with this. On the line, they show you the folding lines. You can just score it. You can use your scoring board with a scoring tool. I'm using this bone folder that has got the scoring tool in front. I've got quite a few, but this one is readily available on my desk at this very moment. So while I'm scoring, I'm going to go ahead and just score all the lines that needs to be folded. So once they are done, I know that I am also done with scoring. I just score it twice just to make sure there's enough of indent without tearing the paper. And it's beautiful that all the score lines are printed so that you know the minute that you fold it, it will look as if you had inked the edges. However, we will continue to ink all the edges because of the white core of the paper. And that's just me. You don't have to do it, but I prefer to. Just lining the ruler up. I might have done that a bit skew. There we go. And then the bottom as well. Now the cardstock that I used for printing these are not very thick. It's about 100 GSM. Those two goes together, so I'll keep it there. Then these little pockets. Again, there's a line showing us where to score it. That will then just help with the folding part of this. Of course, some of the little cards will be fitting into these envelopes. I must just go back and see which ones, if they were intended to go together. Just giving an extra journaling spot. And places to tuck things in as well. The set that I have here is actually two sets. There is the one with the paper and then the one with the ephemera. It's not just one kit, it's two kits. But they go so well together. Let's finish the envelopes first. And then we can go on to more pockets. Let's do the big one as well. This one I already folded in. I just want to turn it over so I can score. Isn't this just a gorgeous image? It really makes my African heart scream. Longing for my roots. Why is this looking as if it's skew? Let me just line it up with the lines and then I will probably feel better about it. And then the last scoring line on this. Get it through in these tiny little pockets. Almost done with all the scoring. Then we can ink and assemble. And in part 2 of making the ephemera, I would want to make a few things myself or continue still with the kit. The idea was at first to make part 1 using the kit and part 2 making my own ephemera. Though I've got this funny feeling that I wouldn't need any extra ephemera that I have to make myself. There are truly so many bits and pieces that can be included in the journal. If you're watching this video, please leave me a purple heart so that I know you enjoyed it and I can give you a shout out in my next video. Just want to line it up with that grey line. Look at these images, they are absolutely divine. Look at that. Really, truly beautiful. And the colours make me almost think of the grass of the African savannas. Afrikaans we say bosveld. Bosveld. Bushveld directly translated. And the last two pockets. Of course I will not be doing all the inking on camera. That will be just too boring to watch. So there we have this. Now buckets, we'll do buckets all in a, start with the large envelopes, then buckets later, maybe this one. So we've got a few envelopes here. There must be text that's going with this as well. So let's start with Mr. Giraffe maybe. First that, we'll do it in this order I think. So, first things first. I normally use vintage photo. Yes, it is grey, but I'm going to just re-ink the edges, especially there where it's folded over. And it covers that white core completely, but lightly. And no, it does not change anything. Now folding it, because it's already scored, will be a breeze. You can see the fold line there. The minute that you fold it, it's done. So what I want to do is just ink those fold lines as well. There we have it. Now this one, I really did mess up by having something dropped on there. Don't ask me when. I'm just inking over this just to hide the fact that it is actually a water stain. Now my printer is just an inkjet, it's not, or whatever, it's not a laser printer, so it is a bit of an issue. It's not waterproof. And fold those in as well. So when you fold it in, we'll do the insides just now. Flap. I'll just ink this one still on camera, and the giraffe. All the other inkings will be done off camera, and I will come back, and then we can just continue. And then the little flappies. Yes, you're not really going to see that, but at this point I don't know how will I use the envelopes yet. So I'll much rather just ink it for in case I decide for the envelopes to open up. So now the little giraffe. We'll do that one together, then I'll go and ink the rest, and I'll come back. Did I now ink that? Why does it not look as if I did? I just love these images on this kit so much. Just fold that in. When something is thin and long like this, the strip, it tends to be a tiny little bit more difficult to control it than a bigger flap, say on the envelope. This one is a bit wider, so I will just trim that. And maybe I did indeed score it skew, but just line it up with the lines on the cutting board, rectify that line. So let's use the ruler, and good thing, now I can show you how to rectify things like this as well. Going to just move my bone folder in there to push that right up against the ruler. That way you can rectify it if it was then skew. It is still a bit wider. I'm going to trim this off, in other words. Just make sure it's about, okay, I'll just do this within that line. So, grabbing my trusty craft knife. Don't cut too much now, but I think that would be sufficient. Let's just check quickly. And I see there's a white point there as well. See, I've trimmed it a tiny little bit before now, but it's not an issue. I also just want to make sure that that is trimmed. Maybe I cut it skew. Just a bit of that bulk to cut away there. And I also just want to trim that corner for in case. There we go. So, I might have, I don't know how. It is what it is now. Just close this one, and let's start with the inking. Fold that over, and then we're going to ink that part. And I'm just going to trim this bottom part as well. Might be the way that I've cut it, just to make sure there's nothing standing or showing once I fold it over. There we go. So that way. So the edges are inked. I just want to, I think, add a piece of paper in there just to hide the white on that background. Yes, the tag will go in there, but it will still be seen. So I will just add a piece of paper there. So let's grab something. I've got some, just going to see, it's about 2, so just like so. I'm out of view here, but I'm going to just cut a tiny piece, just freehand, I think. And it will be wider than and longer than I need, just so that I have that. This is not from the kit. This piece of paper is not from the kit. I got that separate. One of the teacher side, the paid side. I think it's a local side though. So I'm going to just add that there. And I hope, oops, I now put a bit of glue on there, which was obviously on my finger. Rub till it's gone, or sort of gone. So let's see how this is folding over now. There we go. See, so that white is now completely covered. I'm going to just add a bit of liquid glue to the bottom of this. Not much, just a tiny slither. Use whatever glue you are comfortable with. I just find that I can get a small amount out with this nozzle. I do have a fine tip one, but it keeps on clogging. And I didn't even think of using the Distress Collage medium now. I just want to run my bone folder on the end, just to get a crisp fold. I should have probably done that before the time. And also at the bottom. There we go. And then going to close that. Just making sure that it's folding beautifully. And the glue is also attaching very well. There we go. And we can now slot that one in there. I would like to add a bit of something to this tag just to finalize it. And now it feels as if this is a tight fit. Maybe I should. I maybe did that too tight. No, so I will have to trim this down a tiny little bit. But it's okay, we can just ink it. I probably totally folded it wrong. And then we will just ink the ends again. And it should be easier to add it to that little pocket now. There we have it. So let's see. I'm sure it will go in easily now. If not, I will just guide it a little bit with my bone folder so that it can bend. And just making sure. There we go. That is a better fit. So anyway, just going to do that. Making sure this space. Glue didn't attach itself somewhere where it shouldn't. And there we have that pocket. If you don't have a long enough bone folder or don't have a bone folder, you can do the same with your ruler. Just moving it in just so that you know there is enough space for things to go. There we have it. And we will still attach something there that will complete this pocket. Now, we will continue with the other. I'm not sure if I want to close this. If I do, it will just be an envelope, which is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. But if I leave it open and I add something to it, it can be used in a different way. Like a big journaling spot, have something else here, some paper. So I think that is what I'm going to try and do with this one. Use something to close it with, maybe add some eyelets to that, to the front with some string or something, and it will give us something else. So let's go ahead and just add something in the middle here. Just use some, distress oxide, I think, just in antique linen, and we will just color this quickly. That should be perfect. Just grabbing a cellophane packaging, just to cover the work surface. Using a dome applicator, and just inking that quickly, just to take the white away, because if we glue paper on it, we will have to score again, which is not a problem, but we already scored and folded this. Don't want an even look, so I don't want to add too much. Let's do this side. I must just be careful now not to crumple the edges. I'll just turn this a little bit. And now for the inside. Here I will start using bigger circles because there's a bigger surface to cover. And now this area at the bottom. A little bit still on that flap. There we go. I think I like that a lot, and that is an easy solution. And I'll just fold this close so that I don't have ink everywhere. So there we have this one. So if we now want to just use it as a tuck spot, we can do that with some line paper in here, maybe. Stamps that we can use to have some lines to write on. We can just add maybe a stamp here. It will be awesome. Let's do that. Let's get a stamp going. What stamp will we use? I think the African one or this wiki stamp. Wiki is a pot, a cast iron pot that is, it's only got 3 legs, but it is mostly used for outdoor cooking, like with camping, barbecuing, which we call in South Africa a braai. It's quite a topic of discussion whether it's a barbecue or a braai. South Africans will know exactly what that is. A barbecue is mostly referred to as a gas barbecue, using gas. A braai is using wood that then the coals would be used to cook the food on. So let's do the booty this side, because once you fold it open, it will be here. Now, let me just make sure this is damp. And it's a rubber stamp on a block, so I can't use the stamping platform for this. So I will have to make sure that this is making good contact. Using my fingers to press down, I will hold it a little bit just to make sure it actually gives a good impression. Unlike using a stamping tool, stamping platform, it will be harder to get a good impression. So some of my stamps, these ones are quite old already. I had them for almost probably 25 years. I am in the UAE, almost 20, and I got this quite some time before that. So yes, stamps on wooden blocks were all the rage back then. These days it's the red rubber stamps or clear or silicone stamps that is widely available. So let's see if this actually made a good imprint. Let's do the great reveal. And beautiful. So that is lovely. Now I'm going to do the African one up there. You can still write on it. I've used it somewhere in the journal as well. See how the ink goes on the inside. But it's okay. I'm sure the edge is still raised enough for me to... I just want to turn this maybe so I can see the edge of this stamp. So I'll use that edge, the corner of this fold, and this top line to line that up. Just making sure it's got good contact. Not trying to lift the stamp, which I think I just did now. Yes, it did wobble. If it made a double imprint, that would be so sad, because it's right on the inside of the envelope. Yes, we can still glue it together, but I would love to do something else with this envelope instead of making it a regular envelope. And lift it. There we go. So it's also in that vintage brown, vintage photo, the brown color that I so often use. And we will just leave this to dry for a little bit. It doesn't take too long, but I don't want to close it to have an imprint of those two stamped images. So if you close it, that will be that, and opening it up, I think it will just be gorgeous if we turn this into an extra journaling spot. Of course, we can add some extra things in there. Yeah, I think this will be the better way to just supposedly close it, and we can use one of those other things with some string maybe, eyelets just to close it. I think that will be beautiful. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do it earlier with... That might be a good thing. Let's see. I can always use some paper. So the idea would be, let's ink that quickly. The edge is already brown, but I don't like that white core of the cardstock that is showing. There we have that one. All good things are wild and free. Now, just grabbing a piece of cardstock. I will be using this paper that is also from the kit, that I printed on cardstock previously, remember? So I'm going to just measure this to see the width of this. Maybe I should just cut it exactly the same width as this. And I'm going to cut a complete strip of this. I know I am a bit out of view at the bottom, but you will see my ruler in a second. And I will cut from the top to the bottom. There we go, like so, I think. Don't want to move the little card now. I'm just using that one tag, label rather than a tag, to use as the size of this. If it's too wide, we will just trim it off. Just cutting a strip. There we go. Now, just to show you, I use this as the size, the width of the strip. So we'll be inking that quickly. And then we will get the eyelet setter, and I will be using the crocodile. Let me just get this craft knife closed before there's a mishap. So, not sure how far this needs to go. Maybe we should trim it still. And I'm not sure whether I want it running from the top to the bottom. Sort of like a type of belly band. So, let's see how this is working. When I'm doing my journals, I really do not know. Now, I will be closing this sadly for a bit. If I do it like that, it's a bit wide, but it's not an issue. If I do it like this, we can, and I think that's what we need to do. I don't want to fold it to have a definite fold there. Just bring it across, have that there. I think pull it a bit to that side, and then we can always move it up, line it up with the lines on the cutting mat, and then fold it so that we have the size of the envelope, and then also fold this side, and then just ink that as well. And yes, hiding the lines is almost like a... There we have that. Now what we need to do is, in retrospect, it can just be a band that we glue on. It is a tiny little bitty skew. So what I will do is just trim a tiny bit off here. Maybe the ruler had slipped, which can happen, or I simply just measured it short. There we go. So now we're going to glue this on, but I don't want glue on top of the envelope. So we will have that there. We can close it the other way. Let's see how that will look. And just move this way around and have it there. Which is, you see what I just see now? Oh, there we go. So I'm going to add glue to the one side of this card. Not much, just regular glue stick. I don't want any glue to run out at this very moment. Wait, that was almost upside down. Hold it together. And then I'm going to just add that Not sure which is which side now. I feel it's the side that I glued. There we go. And then we can just lift that one up and glue that side. But I'm not going to glue it so tightly. We need to be able to add it easily to the card. Now just reinforce that there. So we've got that done. And then from about the good part. So from there. Don't glue it down too tightly. I just want to pull this one back a little bit, just so that there's a bit of space, if you know what I mean. Not tightly added, but just like this. So this can still, if you tap it, it will fall off. So there we have it. We can move it up and down and add it on again afterwards. There's now a bit of glue on my envelope. How sad is that? Just checking to make sure there's no glue on the middle part, middle section. Just maybe trim that bit that's showing on either side and on this side too. Don't snip the bottom now, Krista. Don't snip the bottom. And just ink that tiny little bit again. There's a corner that's lifting. That will not be very tidy. And the bottom part as well. We'll check this side too, which of course it's also lifting. Of course I did not put glue to the end. And there we have that band. That is now going over our bucket. And now it is a beautiful bucket where you don't just use it as an envelope, but as a bucket. So I think we should just add it from this side so that the flap can stay closed. And there we have it. So we have that. It can slip on and off, keeping this closed, looking like an envelope. But once you open it up, it can either be a hidden journal spot, or you could use it as a place where you can put some ephemera. So I love this. I really, really, truly love this. And it kind of hides what is on the envelope. But then when you take it off, you will see the beautiful Pride of Lions there. Right, so one is done. That is amazing. That and the little giraffe. Giraffe tag still just needs a little something there. Now this one, I think I'm going to change this into another. This is truly from Africa. There's a part of Africa there. There's the northern part, or the eastern part of that. Isn't that lovely? And a part here with the Horn of Africa. And there is Madagascar as well. I love this. I truly, truly, truly love this map. I'm thinking maybe I should just change this and use it for a travel journal. So let's continue with the others. Little zebra. Let's do the zebra. We can bend it because it is... See how my mind is working. I said no more inking on camera, and here I am intending to bend it out, ink the edges again. So there we have that. Fold it, nicely folded, and there we have our envelope. I'm going to close this one with a bit of glue just on the edge here. Just a tiny slither of glue. And also on this side. And fold that, and I'll just wipe with a paper towel quickly to remove excess glue, if any. Because we don't want the shine on the paper of the glue drying. Could be a baby wipe. I left my packet of baby wipes open, so it is all dried up. So it's just like cloth at this point. And there's a tiny little envelope. Oh, look at that giraffe. Oh, listen to me, giraffe. There's zebra. Look at that zebra. Isn't it too gorgeous? Love that. Let's do the tiny little envelope that says Africa. It's pretty much the same principle as the previous one. Just too gorgeous. Love the browns. And again, just a bit of glue on the edge. Not too much, just a bitty. Just making sure no glue is running out. There's a bitty running out there. You can still grab it. Just feeling the inside, no glue there. And running my bone folder over that so that it can just attach well. No glue. Still no glue. Awesome. I just want to check this one. I know the glue has set, but just make sure. And there we have these two little envelopes done. And aren't they just too gorgeous? Let's do these ones. There's one more tiny envelope before we go to these ones. Once you have scored them, especially with the cardstock, it makes folding them so much easier. Got too much glue. These can become tiny pockets where you can add things in. Any one of those smaller ephemera pieces can be added. Bigger cards will be journal cards. Eventually I will round the corners, ink them, and there we have that. But these ones are just amazing. I love the prints. Such great graphics used. This is like a little, almost like a money pocket, money envelope. Let's just run the bone folder over this. So with this one, we're just going to add a bit of glue on this side, and then directly on there. So close that flap and close that flap. Run the bone folder over, wipe it. Just if there's any glue, just wipe it away immediately, then it doesn't leave that sheen of the glue there. Make sure the pocket is open, and there you have it, Bob's my uncle. Look at this. Oh, leopardess with the, is it a word, a leopardess? What do you call a female leopard? Lioness, leopardess, I'm not sure. Right this minute I am maybe making my own word, I don't know. My brain is just blank at this very moment. And her little cups. So that one can be folded over. Let's fold it in. Pretty much the same as the previous one. Bit of glue. Let's see which one folds in over more. Let's do that one. Not too much glue again. Just a little bitty. Right on the edge. Just want to smear that a bit to the bottom. And this one. And there we have that. Done. Sorted. Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Pockets. Little pockets that can be added. See, if you follow the cut lines, it's already trimmed away for you. Score lines would be the darker lines that we scored it on. It's already sorted. I just want to trim that little part because it shows. So I will just trim that part there. And there we have that one. Another one here. Little bombas. Look at that little bombas. There's a tiny bit. I'm just going to trim that at an angle. Yes, sometimes my nails are the best tools ever, because I use that as scoring tools, screwdrivers, and that's why I hardly ever have nail polish on my fingernails. It just doesn't last. It's thinner, so it does take a bit of guiding just to bend it where it's supposed to. You can, however, use a scoring tool for that, your ruler just to guide you, or bend it with a ruler. There we have the pocket with that elephant on. Now for the lion. And then there's two more pockets. And now you will understand why there are so many white pages in my journal, so that I can add these pockets and things to it without taking away from the graphics behind it. Also, just use the scoring tool and just make this a crisp fold. Then these ones with some brown and orange. This one looks as if it was scored in the wrong place. Just trim it a little bit more. Let's strain it again to go in a different direction. And then I'll use my scoring tool and just push it right against the ruler so that it knows now where to go. And then we will score it. And now it is straight where it should be scored. This one I will also just trim a little bit off on that corner. Now the pocket. You will see that all the pockets have got a left one and a right side, or a left side, right side. This one did not score right to the end. Why? So let's gauge it in the right direction, just so that it knows where to fold. And turn this over. There we go. Now hopefully this one is folded right. I had cut that little bit out. There, I have cut it in my own silliness. But it's fine. Once it's glued down, it will be perfect. Nothing is bothering. It's not taking away from the thing. I just torn it now a little bit further, but once it's glued down, it will be perfect. So there's our pockets done, sorted. It's all folded, and we can now start adding those to the journal. Some of these cards, these ones can just be added as they are to Gorgeous. It will give us a place to either put photos, or we can even add ephemera to it, or it can be journaling spots. These cards I want to turn into journal cards. They are just too pretty. We've got lots of tags, journal cards. See, those two are actually for the pockets. I knew there was something missing somewhere along the line, and there they are. So that one needs to go in there. See how easily that goes in, and then Mama and her two babies into that one. So that is then done. This one can be a journal card, tuck spots. These two need to go into envelopes. There's a little something for that one. Let's put those in. See how we go through. I told you when we started, I'm sure. There goes it. The little zebra. And the African card in there. Those ones Those are tags. This goes for the big envelope. These are little journal cards. I did print one of them twice, I think. Hence, I have so many extra things. So let's quickly put the lion in its. These ones are done. Those are done. They've got the little cards in. That one is done. But now just the lions need to go in here, which is fine. You can use that to put a photo. You can use it for journaling, and it fits perfectly in there. Isn't that just amazing? So add that, a bit of glue on there, and I'm just quickly scratching off with a nail. And then let's just add this band. I almost feel as if I'm missing another bucket or envelope. I know I've got more of these postage looking like cards because I have printed one page extra. These ones, I think there was maybe, let's just get the same sorts together. Those are separate. This is different. See, there's two ostriches, not an issue. Not an issue at all. So one page I did print extra. So I want to and would like to actually round those corners of some of these ones. This is just too gorgeous. Look at this baby hippopotamus. Isn't it too cute? Too gorgeous. I'll go through here. I have plenty of photos of the baby hippopotamus there as it was playing in the water with mom obviously close by. But it is so adorable. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love these cards. They are too pretty. Now these ones, my favorite bird is a fish eagle. Always have been, always will be. Again, that hippopotamus, not the same one, but still. I've got an elephant and then there's a lion. So I've got the lion and hippopotamus, and again the fish eagle. That one goes with the animal print cards. So I've got a full set of each. Am I right? Elephant and that. I can use this in another set, which will be perfect. It's not an issue. I'm just wanting to see. Tiny little bit big for that, but it's okay. We can incorporate it anywhere. They are really truly beautiful. So these will be the cards that we're working on right now, and then this can be added as is. This one, oh, it's so beautiful. South Africa's right at the tip, here at the bottom. For those that don't know, see, I know I printed some of them double. That's why I have little things. Now these ones can be tabs. It can be whatever. There's a little I don't know, curvage. So look, there's also Africa, the African continent. Those can be little tabs, lengthwise. You can fold them over as such and make them tabs. You can add them as little labels. There's so many many things you can do with these little things. So there's more. This one, we've got this rhino. I would love to ink Mr. Rhino just a little bit to get that white edge away, you know me. And the trusty vintage photo again. So he's ready to be added. This needs to go. All good things are wild and free. We've got that. We've got the strips, we've got some tickets, we've got more labels, can be used as pockets, tuck spots, more little goody goods that we can add. I want to get the rest of these little tags. I want to add that in the middle of our journal. And then we've got all these beautiful animals that can be used on your own tags, can be used to decorate pages with. Yes, you can slide it lengthwise, or you can do shorter strokes. Shorter strokes, of course, take longer. Longer strokes tends to cut your sponge quite a bit. Yes, this is sponge. And then we have all these little strips. All these little strips with the African prints on them. There's another one with some numbers on. Might not necessarily use that here. This looks like washi tape that was torn. We've got more of those little things. There's one more. We've got all these more strips. Another little tag, and then all these tiny little things. And there's that ticket that I was talking about earlier with a beautiful ostrich on it. And then we've got all these tiny, let me just get them together here. The little rectangular shapes. And then we have all these tiny little circles. Now those can be added as buttons. They can be used, I don't know, maybe that is part of the page that I have printed twice. And then there's a few bigger ones. Not that many, but a few bigger ones. Two of those, zebra stripes, and the leopard print. So let's get started. I just want to move that little container off my one side. I don't have such a big whole bunch, to be quite honest with you. I've got the regular sizes, which is much smaller than that. But what I'll do is I'll just move that into the middle, punch a hole, more or less there. And if it's not scented, not an issue, not a train smash, but just more or less in the middle. And then I will ink the rest of that white that is showing, because I don't have oversized eyelets. So we'll be adding some of gold will be perfect, or the browns. And don't take that one away too far away, because we will need that. Just grabbing some gold eyelets quickly. So before we get to that, I'm going to just ink these edges so that we know they are a little bit darker. Now using walnut stain for that, just so that it's not so stark white. Though you know what, I think ground espresso, ground espresso will be better. It's much darker. It will almost, there we go, I'll ink that. It's better than having the white showing. Maybe a roasted note will work. Then I can safely color it much quicker. There we go. That way we know we don't ruin the rest of the image. There we go. Yes, it is much darker, but I can show you it looks better than that white little ring that is sitting there. And once we have the actual eyelet in, it should be fine. Focus on that area, and there we have that sorted. So, next one, next little step, the actual eyelets. We've got 4 of those tags, am I right? Yep. And I don't know why I'm taking this out with my left hand, because I'm not a lefty. It's probably taking me much longer than it would when I'm using my right hand. Now I can't get the lid back, as long as it doesn't spill. That's good. Now let's pop this in. We've got the hole fits, so we're going to just add that into the little thing, and we pinch it, and it is set perfectly well. Much quicker than previously. You had the old hammer and that little thingy that you have to punch out the hole with. Yes, you can use that anywhere on any page. This one probably still need another pinch, just to make sure I don't mess it up. So I'll have to take out the hammer and just flatten that one, because I lifted it up too soon, and then I did not make sure that it was centered again. And pinch. The last one of this set. And I'll ink the edges, and we've got something else to add. Now the rest of these little ephemera pieces are quite straightforward. Besides inking, we have that. So I'm quickly just going to use the hammer on this one. So it's flattened out, not standing up, though I did make a mess of it. You can see it actually from the front, but it's not too bad. So let's just ink the edges so that we can get that white away. If you don't have any ink, you can use a marker pen and just run it across. If you don't have that, you can also use some paint, a little bit thinner with thinned out with water, just so that you can then dip the sides in it. Here it will be a problem, so I would suggest you just use something like a makeup sponge or something and just ink the edges. And you will notice I'm not dipping my ink blending tool into the ink again, because there is still quite a bit of ink on the ink blending tool itself. There we have that. I think that looks amazing. Absolutely beautiful. So that's ready to add, and we've got all these little things. Now with these ones we can add it with some what you might call it, with some paper clips. You can glue it directly into your journal. We will be adding a bit of our own stuff next week, make a few things, but there we have a lot of ephemera pieces, and need I say again, beautiful ephemera pieces. This is absolutely amazing. I will definitely use part of this kit again, like things like, I'll show you these little strips, that's either from the freebie or part of the kit. If you want to use this in another set, nothing stops you from using that. These little parts I will ink up just in a little bit, that's fine. Let's do this one quickly. With the animals, they are just gorgeous. Now my journal is just short to use this as a belly band, but if you have a longer journal, like almost A4, it can be a belly band, it can be a tuck spot by itself, and this goes for any type of set of tickets that is still attached to each other. You can run the little perforation tool along the edges to give it that more authentic look. These ones, I'll just keep it as it is. I still want to, maybe I'll use these animal skin parts. I'm just going to round the edges. I love using round edges, so I'll punch 2 at a time. This one has got a bit of white on it, so let me just trim that one a bit. There we go. So 2 at a time, and I love using the middle one, saving time to punch 2 at a time. And the next two, just make sure the corners are right in the end, right together, and we will punch it with a 7mm corner rounder. Yes, you can do this individually, but this cardstock is not really too thick, so there we have that ready to be inked, the same as that. These ones too, it can be used as tuck spots, journal cards, it can be used as corner tuck spots on the page where you glue two sides to a page. I'll show you now within a second. Let me just get that. If this was my page, let's take the cardstock. If this was my page, I can glue it down at the bottom on this side and there, and then I will be able to tuck anything in there, maybe like that, if that is what you want to do. So there are plenty, and like I said, I printed some of this twice, so I'll just take the double out, which is the ostrich. And that can easily be added to another project that I'm going to do in the near future, or possibly still working on in the meantime. So let's start with the little card first. We also have these tiny little ones that we will have to ink and just make the holes in it as well. So let's get started. Vintage photo, glue, just close the glue for a moment. Just going to ink these ones, and where there's lots of silence, I will try and speed it up in between so that we can shorten the length of this video. I had a bit of difficulty with another video. My one phone just died on me suddenly while I was busy recording another episode for my random session, which I then air on a Wednesday. So I have one video that abruptly stops right in the middle, and it will be aired after the session though. And I tried to do it with my new phone. However, after I've edited it, it took me some time to get the courage together to edit on the new phone, and I uploaded it to my YouTube. First, it took quite some time, and then the upload was abandoned. And I thought it was maybe because the internet was slow, and it was a busy time of night, so I said I will do it again in the daytime, which I did, and within minutes, it told me upload abandoned again. But this time it gave me a reason and said the file format is not supported. So I went in to check the settings of my video recording. It's the same as what I'm using right now, but there's something wrong. So the retake of that video is then lost, and I had to upload the other one that abruptly stopped without finishing what I was going to do, which was fuzzy cutting the fodder circles. And I never got to say goodbye. And thank you for joining me in that session. And it feels so wrong. Absolutely feels so wrong. Not to mention rude, but yes, I did apologize. But in the description box, sometimes technology just doesn't play nice. There we have these ones. So all these cards are ready. And hopefully I'll just show you with some of these others, and then we will add them. Next time we will be, oops, there's two. Next time we will be adding or making some ephemera still that might be needed. Look at this face, isn't it too cute? One of the big five, obviously the big five and friends. So that's the title of the kit. If you haven't done so, and I did ask you before, go check out Digital and SVG Designs for You. They've got lots of sublimation stickers, they've got lots of paper, they've got journal kits for all kinds of occasions. They've got little tags and labels. I've used some in my steampunk journal that we made. I used definitely some of the labels in the mushroom journal that I made, and of course many of the other sessions that I do, I use some of this stuff, and I do mention them often. Amazing. If there's something that you need, you can make contact with them. I say now them like in plural, but you can make contact with the shop and they will get back to you. Absolutely amazing. I want to just ink these little ones too. I punched it out with a circle punch just to lessen the time of cutting out. You can cut it by hand. Lots of practice for fuzzy cutting. If you are lucky enough to have one of those wonderful cutting machines that's available, that you can set like a brother cut and scan and a silhouette and whatnot, don't ask me, all of those, that's available, and you can get it to work and line up these things. You can cut it out for you, then you will definitely save time and energy, and you can get to crafting a whole lot sooner. It did take me quite a bit to cut this out, though I love cutting. It's really not a problem. I think it's to do with the fact that I am a teacher. Teachers cut lots of activities, especially in the lower grades, because it's more hands-on activities than with the upper grades. So lower elementary, we make a lot of our own activities and stuff. Give a teacher a pen and a lamination sheet and you will see how happy they are. This is green, but I'm going to add that bit of brown just to add that vintage touch to this. We are almost done. There's a few bits and pieces here that needs to be inked, but I might use them in making ephemera, so I'm not going to ink them straight away. Magnificent fish eagle. It's not to be confused with the American bald eagle, though very similar. One of them has got a bit of lighter brown in it, where the other one has got darker brown, and the size also apparently is a tiny little bit different, where the fish eagle is, I think, might be wrong, a bit smaller. We have inked those. I'm just checking to make sure I don't see white, where I do still see a bit of white shining through. especially on the corners. All right, now just the buckets, and then we will attach some of the buckets to the journal, and that's where we will stop for today. I did say earlier I will do the inking off camera, which I might still do, might cut some of it. I don't know how long this video is at this point, so I might just edit that out and just use parts of it, because you really don't have to see me inking each and every piece of this kit. And our journal is really taking on shape very well. Yes, there is grey around this, but the grey still picks up the brown, and you can make the kit your own. Tim Holtz did bring a new colour out. I think it was January last year or something, or maybe it was this year, I'm not even sure anymore. It's called Lost Shadow, and that will also be quite an amazing colour to use here. So those pieces are all inked. So I'll just put that to one side. Now these tiny little ones. Let's see which eyelet is going to, or punch I mean, is going to work. I just want to see if it will be the big one. No, it will need to be the smaller one. You won't be able to see that on here, but I can see where it's centered. So I'll punch this quickly. I'll have to do individual ones just to make sure that I can see. Here's my trusty pokey tool, which is just a paper clip that I've opened up. You can line it up, you can see the hole, and you can punch that. And I will probably have to poke that with each one, because that little bit of cardstock is sitting in the bunch. Blowing it works probably faster. Yes, don't get your fingers in there, because it closes. Let me show you how it works while I've got the opportunity. As you press there, there is a hole punch. There as another one, the bigger one, standard. There's your eyelet setter. Then you can actually measure it to some point as far in as you want to punch. For that side, inches, this is centimeters, centimeters and inches on that side. And it gives you the sizes. That's a 3/16 inch, and that is 1/8 inch, and then the centimeters. So it tells you where you measure and all of that. But if you close this and your finger is in the wrong spot, man, oh man, can it pinch you like you wouldn't believe it. Just cleaning those holes again, and it closes by pressing the little button, and then it doesn't open. You can reopen it again by pushing on the opposite side, and it will open up. So quickly going to ink that, and then going to get some tiny eyelets. I might have them here in this container, or they might be in another one. I do hope I have gold ones. If not, we will have to see what we have, because that's now not the normal size of eyelets that you get, you know, widely available in stationery type shops. I need to tell you, here in the expat community, we all know the shop that's selling stationery as a stationery shop. Here in the mouth of the locals, it is called a library. Now, when I first came, I did not know that, and I would ask for a library, a stationery shop, and they would tell me, yes, a library, and I'm like, no, I don't want a library. I don't want to go and take out books. I really, truly just want to buy some stationery. It took me some time to latch onto that and realize that it is actually a stationery shop. So when you want to open this, you can see that is flat against the tool. You just push this side, and it opens. So you have to close it. To be able to close it, it locks it, and push it again, push that back in, and it opens up. So we're going to use the small side, not the big side. We use the tiny one, and we are now going to just adjust our little knob to the tiny. There we go. So it's got a different point there. I've got a few of these tiny brads, which is like an old gold color. And yes, they are a whole lot more difficult to fit in. I will try to turn this over and get that little point in, and it slipped out. It's always kind of a hit and miss situation for me. Pinch that, and there's your little eyelet. Now let's do 5 more. By the end, we will be a whole lot more. And I just bumped the tag. These ones are so tiny, it's really, really difficult to get them in there. And pinch. Look at that little birdie, isn't it gorgeous? Kudu. Did you see how easily that is, or how easy it is to bump that out? There we have that. 3 to go. And we'll just add the buckets to the journal, and we will stop there for today. Then next week, next session will then be part 2 of the ephemera. We will add these in, see what is done. Finally, I've got it in. That one is done. And the last one. The last one didn't give any hard eggs or troubles. This one just needs to be flattened a bit, so I'm going to put it back in and push that tiny last little bit. There we go. I might just have to flatten that with a hammer. Also this one also didn't flatten completely, but let's do that. The others are fine. There we go. So there we have the little tags, and they're already inked, so that is beautiful. So buckets, let's do the buckets. Let's see where we can add that. Just want to close this, grab some glue, get our journal. There's our journal, looking good. That's a bit damaged, but it's okay. It will be fine. It is what it is. Now I know not to use glue stick. So let's see, where will we add these buckets? We've got a bit of stamping going on. Some of them, see there, it just fits perfectly in the bucket or on the page. That's nice. I kind of like that. So let's put Mr. Elephant on this side. And remember, we've got 3 signatures. So we will add a bit of glue, not much so that it doesn't seep out, and on this side. Grab the bone folder. There we go. And you can see it there. I've spilled some glue previously on that page. There's a tiny bit of shine there. So look at that bucket, isn't it gorgeous? Now that one would have also worked on here. We have this one, we've got that stamp, we've got this, and then I was thinking to put these tiny little tags on this so that it dangles from there. So I think that will look awesome. So there's 2 for each side, then all of that is the same. Now this one can easily be there, but let's keep another one. Let's do this side. I think that will be a nice contrast. I just want to move this one to the other side, or just put it together like that, just so that it doesn't bother me. Oops, not the rhinoceros, this page. So we're going to put one that side so that it is opposite of that. So we still have a few, so it might be this page. I'm going to add a post-it note there so that I know where to go again the next time, maybe this one. So let's see, another page. Rhinoceros there, the lions. I think, yeah, I think this will be a perfect position for this pocket. In fact, I think the left one, I will put it this side. So again, a sliver of glue, not too much. It's got a nice fold, crisp fold, and it should go in easily. So there we have that. Don't move it now because that will close the bucket. And yes, you can add a clip or 2 just to help the process a little bit. We can get back to it. See, there's still another page. We can add any of these other things in there. Let me give you an idea. Just going to put that in there. We already have something that can be glued to the page, can be a pocket, so we won't decide yet. There's still lots to do. Our guinea fowl page, then we have this page, and that will be quite something if we add this. This is the next signature, so we might add this one there. And like the contrast with the 2 prints, this should be fine. So I'm going to take the clips off now and just add a bit of glue there. You know already, not too much glue because you don't want it to seep out. If you have glitter glue, for those of us that's just starting, glitter glue is not something that has got actual physical glitter in it. That's just a brand name, and it is available, I think, in the Americas, so not so readily available here. And if it is quite expensive because we have to order it from Amazon. I'm sorry to say, but I do not pay 140 plus dirhams for a bottle of glue. I just find that a little bit overpriced. Yes, probably a good glue, but Eileen's is doing it for me. There we go. This is done. Just checking, not sticking over. Look at that, rhinoceros and the zebras. I like the sheet, so do we want the lion there? Thank you for joining me. If you go and try this for yourself, please tag Wobblecrafting on social media. If you want to see more content like this, please give me a thumbs up so that I can share my videos with more people. And as always, I'll be appreciative if you subscribe to my channel too. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload new content. See you back soon. Goodbye.